I gotta learn how to. I want to do a Boston accent. It's the hard. I can do dude cheeseburger party, but I can't do car. Pop me car. I got fart. I got a fart. All right. Is my mic on? A singing mic? Yeah, ridiculous, Zach. Yeah, I don't know how to do Boston accents. Boston. I'm from Boston. Pop me car. I fart. It's like, it's not right. Coffee. That's like Jersey. I don't know. I gotta learn how to. I gotta hang out with more trash, which is difficult now that I'm so sophisticated. Things have changed so much in my life. All these grown-up decisions I've made with my somewhat, there's a little bit left of the brain. Sure, have I bounced it off a lot of stuff and it's a bit messy? Yeah, but when you started off not using it at all, and then you just turn it on a little bit, it's surprisingly pretty good. Pretty happy about it. But yeah, the decisions, the journey of Jason. Seen a million faces. Probably came on too many of them, but that's beside the point. Recently, welcome to the show, everybody. Yeah, if you want to see me on the road, thejasonellis.com. I'm going to Canada. That'll be crazy. Oh, diddly-do, I'm from Canada. That's my Canadian accent. Sluggo. That's it. Trans people. It's a hot topic. Also, you know what's a hot topic? White comedians doing jokes about stuff where they're like, they do trans jokes, and it's like, shut up, and especially unless it's brilliant. And I've yet to. Okay, that's not true. Anthony Jeselnik has a trans joke where I'm like, yeah, that's good. Everyone else, nah. But the Waymo jokes, I got a good Waymo joke for white comedians. Why don't you get that stupid car to write you a better joke, you jerk off? I'm not doing it on stage because I don't want to be. You know what the thing is with Waymo? Like, shut up. That's what you should do. Waymo. We've all got those. Did you hear about Waymo? Waymo? Anyone? Guys, anyone got a Waymo in the audience? Why do you ask people stuff in the audience like that? What is that? Anybody got hair? Girlfriends? Anyone eating food? You know the weird thing about food? Shut up, you basic bitch. But I got a friend, not really a friend, somebody that I knew back in the day. When I say back in the day, like, 7 to 5 years ago kind of thing. Punk rock trans chick, singer. I don't know. I don't really. It's like one of those things where back in the day where I was, sleeping around and, anybody could get it. And I went on a date with this person and, it wasn't bad, it was fine, but no, none of the old in out, so to speak. No jam, no NBA jam session, just a conversation, talked about it. And it's more like, I'm not going to do it unless we date. And I'm like, I'm married. I'm married. Like, I got permission from my partner to go on this date. That's not going to happen, And then, years later, I get divorced, and then that person slides into the DMs like, hey, like, you're single. And I was like, yeah, sure, but never really bid on it because wasn't my type. And even when I was still, a little loose, it just wasn't on my list. Nice person, but just wasn't going to be, it's more like if you want to date, you should not do anything with me because I'm not going to date you. So I never really tried to pursue it because I didn't want to lead them down a road where there'd be broken promises. Even back then, didn't do it. But, since I have gotten sober, blah, 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 I'm not into the, cutting the addiction personality off and no longer following people that I don't want to be associated with. No offense to them. Probably going to say that a lot in this episode because it is going to offend some people, but no offense to them. I'm just going down my path and trying to take care of my mental health, physical health, all health, so that I can be a better person for the people that I really care about. And not saying I hate anybody. I'm just saying I really care about my children and my close friends and family. Not a lot of friends. And I'm not saying that in a sad way. I've really kind of, I've been doing shows lately. I got some shows, regular shows in Los Angeles. And I'm like, who are you reaching out to? And I'm like, one guy. First of all, my best friend is passed away, so I'm not asking him because he can't make it, but he's watching me all the time. But yeah, I think I talked about it for a second, but I've been thinking about it this morning where this trans person that I unfollowed, and it was more like I unfollowed him because I don't want to be associated with that, but also I have a girlfriend, we're in love and I'm trying to sort of, she's a sweet person and she does know, she understands, she has heard a lot of stories. She knows who she's dating. But I just try to separate myself from that stuff. No offense to them, but I recently got a DM from this particular person, very angry at me for being and I don't know how to say it. I should, if I was a member, I probably know how to say it. It's mega or maga. I don't know. A right-wing extremist. And I was like, well, I'm not. And she said, notice how I say she too, because that's how I'm not, to me, she's not a dude. She's a trans woman. Always going to be fine with that. But they were very angry. And it was, I noticed you unfollowed me and I didn't want to get into it, because I don't feel like I owe anybody any excuses. This is really what I'm saying here is for people to understand, to make themselves better and happier with their lives. Believe it or not. I already know me, Some people are like, why do you keep talking about it? I'm like, because none of you really listen, and even if you do, it goes in one ear and out the other. So it's repetitive. Yes. Maybe one day, one of you will get it and decide to make some changes and live a better life. I have done so. And it took me a long time. And I've had a lot of people try to kick wisdom down and it went in one ear and out the other. So I understand. I'm not going to give up. But I was like, but I'm not. And they were like, yeah, you are. And I was like, that's interesting, because I'm me. And I'm telling you, I'm not a right-wing extremist. And you're saying, yes, you are. And I'm like, okay, well, then that's kind of the end of this conversation. And I didn't ask why. I just said, okay. And they said, you support Tim Pool. And I'm like, oh, wow. Again, I didn't know who Tim was until I was on his podcast. And obviously I got information about him, and like now that I've listened to snippets, because I can't, political anything, I can't listen to long periods of any of it. It's just boring, it's not cool. But I was like, look, I skate for his skateboard company, and it's like, well, you get paid, and I'm like, look, I'll be honest with you, I do, but it's not a lot. It's not like life-changing. It's not like Saudi money or anything, It's just, I feel like being wanted on a skateboard team was the main thing that I thought was cool about it, It's been a while, and I love skateboarding, man. I don't even have to, but like, giving them content, it's like I'm skateboarding, it's a job. It feels good, man. And, Are there people that follow him that are potentially racist and homophobic? I mean, dude, I think that I think there's people that follow everybody that are all walks. I just know from my conversations that I don't get it, if I got it. Also, like, he knows I've done, dude, you're talking, some of you might not know this, but I've done stuff in pornography with same-sex people. Did you know he knows that? Why would you sponsor me? It's just a weird thing. But also, I will say that I am more right-leaning than ever before. Maybe I was more right-leaning before I knew what right or left was when I was a youngster. But now that I know a little bit more about politics, I would say that I am more right-leaning because of the God thing, because of praying, because of conservative values, because I think, drinking and raging and, you get your freedoms a little tangled sometimes. And this is, again, just my opinion. But as a person that has had a lot of sexual encounters, I think that a lot of it was not healthy. I don't think it put me in a good mental place. It did a lot of damage to myself and the people around me. Again, this is just my experience. It might be different for you. Good luck, Zach, turning this into a clip of anything. But again, saying that I'm right-leaning, if you don't like that, that's fine. I don't care. Voicing your opinion it's a free country, and you should do so if you want to. But don't get too motivated about it, because I don't care. If you're a huge supporter of me being right-wing leaning, I also don't really care. I'm not doing this for a kumbaya. I don't care. I recently posted a video of my friend JT, who made a movie about he's a Air Force guy, like a soldier, and how they're dropping they have to drop bombs and they get killed. Their friends die all the time, and it's a brutal documentary. It's brutal. And when guys that are in it, and you hear their stories about how their friends are blown away, and they got wives and children, and I'm like, man, you imagine going to work, and sometimes Jimmy that works at the front desk, Jimmy dies, and it's not that crazy because the next guy that takes Jimmy's job is probably going to die too. Could you imagine having a job like that? Like, could you imagine? I'm a comedian. Every now and then we just die. And it's like, it's part of the job. Could you imagine that? Because I can't imagine that. And it's a weird, like, people were attacking me for posting his movie. And I watched the movie, and I was like, the movie, it's sponsored by Black Rifle, and people are like, Black Rifle Coffee, they're racist. I'm like, dude, okay. Like, I didn't see that, and I've been there and I've hung out. I never heard, if anybody had taken me aside and said, you know what the problem is, Jason? I would have gone, hey, man, I disagree with that, Like, everybody deserves a chance. I don't care what color skin you got. I don't care what your sexual orientation is. But it is a weird thing where I don't want to judge. It's gone both ways for me, which is the story of my life. Liberal people that are triggered into just saying you are what they think you are, and there's no way out. You cannot convince them otherwise. Guilty by association. I'm guilty by being sponsored by Black Rifle. First of all, I really like the coffee. Second of all, yep, they do pay me. Everybody I've met, I'm trying to think, is there anybody I've met there where, look, I met a guy at a Black Rifle commercial where he was drunk and he was really hard to deal with, and he was making me uncomfortable. He's got a problem with drinking. I ended up hanging out with him another time, and he kind of talked to me about his problem with drinking. Turns out I really liked the guy. At that day, I could not stand him. And it was one of those guys where I was like, oh, that's what they talk about, these guys, they're, and he was in the military. He had, he fought. That's all I don't want to get into details of people and what they do, but stuff that you and I, depending on who's listening, you're very grateful that you don't have his story. That's all I can say. Heavy. The heaviest of stuff that he's had to deal with in his life for his job. But yeah, hearing this lady go off on me, mentioning that I unfollow her. Like I didn't want to get into it, but I unfollowed her because of the group of people that I don't want to be associated with. It's this thing we get caught in. It's like, like this, the same-sex thing is fine. I know more than the average person because I've been around a lot of gay people and lesbians and trans people, and I know they're not faking it, man. Like, that's insane. When you say that, that's insane. You're clueless or you're a hater. And again, I know some of you we're not going to believe me, but Tim Pool, I've face-to-face, eye on eye, lock it in. Hey, man, just be honest, because it's no harm. I'll just walk, And he's like, what? That's ridiculous. Like, of course gay people are because they're gay. And they deserve equal rights. But I think sometimes when you touch on the subject and you are a straight, he's not even white, he's half Asian, but if you touch on subjects where you have an opinion, liberal people can just say, nah, racist, homophobe, Like this is going to freak, I'm definitely going to get hated for this one. I keep watching Charlie Kirk videos now. I never watched any of it because I was just like, dude's a nerd. He seems actually a lot of hard. I'm like, people that talk like that just make me cringe. But the more I see videos, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I never saw, I saw him talking to black guys and black chicks and gay people. And it was never like, the problem with you guys is because you're gay or because you're black. I'm like, it's usually, I don't know, I still haven't caught one where I go, gotcha. You are a bad guy, But, maybe I haven't watched enough because, honestly, I'll be honest, I don't want to watch too much. But these days, because of his death, social media wants to show you that stuff. And I know that can make people angry too. I don't want to make you angry. I'm just being honest with my opinion. But getting back to the gays and all, there's a lot of sex addiction. Sex sells. It's pushed on us. I don't know if you've noticed this, but like when you're younger, going out with a hot chick, even if she's annoying, you'll do it. I've done it. Yeah. I may or may not have married one or two. When you're older and you have more common sense, those people could be red flags. But because of the way you're brought up, you're raised, society raises you to be like, someone's like, man, that's your chick, dang. You know what I mean? You're like, yeah, actually, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like having a fancy car. Is that your car? Yeah, man. For nice shoes. Yeah, well, that's your shoes. Yeah, man, they're my shoes. Like, my feet are in them, so that's going to tell a good story. But, we get it pushed on us so much that you become, it becomes necessary. You don't even realize how necessary it is to be in the mix of that. Like when I was growing up, guys sleeping with girls was a thing. I think these days, judging by the stats, people are less inclined to sleep with each other now. I don't know exactly why. I've just heard that. I did not fact check that. I've just heard that. But apparently that's a thing. And I'm like, good for them. Because there's other stuff in life besides that, If I had spent more time on skateboarding than sleeping with women, I probably wouldn't be a hidden character in Tony Hawk's video game. I'd actually be a character. But as a guy that's experienced this stuff and been in the world, a lot of these people, gay, straight, trans, doesn't really matter, become addicted to doing it to the point where it's hurting their life. I think, there's cruises, like the ships, And this is not everybody. This is just my experiences. I'm going to keep saying that because, I don't think any of you listened from start to finish. Maybe 7 of you. Maybe Blaine. But I know some stuff about gay cruises where you can get a shot in the booty needle, and it's like stops you from getting STDs for a while, because it's basically what is it? When you get the antibiotics before you get anything, and they'll get the shot so they can go on the boat and just bone everybody. And there's PrEP that I don't know if you guys know what PrEP is, but PrEP stops you from contracting the HIV virus, and everybody is on all of it, and everybody's boning everybody, and it's like it's an addictive personality, and I'm here to say that there's more to life than that. As a person that's done that and was absolutely positive that there is not more to life than that. That is what life is about, is how many times can you have sexual relations with different people. Most of you would be like, that's too much. So as a guy that's done too much and was like, I could argue, but I probably wouldn't, because I always had a suspicion that I might have been incorrect. Now I'm very convinced that it is a really bad road to go down, and that there is a hefty price to pay for that lifestyle. So a lot of, and it's usually, look, it's men, like the testosterone levels, I know trans men, they're, women that are now men that have do testosterone, and they do things like guys do, where they just like bone everybody because they no longer have the brain power to stop it. Because that's what it's like being a man, ladies. It's like, it's like, you gotta go. And you're like, probably shouldn't, but you regret it later. Like that's the thing. I know women still do this, but not on the level that we do. We're out of control. But it's pushed on you. Like it's the media, it sells. Like the Kardashians are this big thing. Why are they a big thing? Are they talented? I'm not trying to crap on them, but they're not very good at anything. They're hot. Right? That's it. That's the thing, right? They're hot. Whatever your style is, but pretty hot. One of them got, we got on the map here from a video of sex from one of them. And then the whole family became huge from sex. It sells. And we're all caught in it, And to me, the easier way to explain it is like food. We're all eating terribly. And we all know very little about diet. And that's the easier way to explain it. It's like, if you take care of yourself, if you put in the right food and liquids, you become a healthier thinking and body, spiritual, everything works better. And it's the same with the sex thing. Like in the world, the media, what you see is like, my Twitter, I don't know if anybody else gets this, and I don't follow any porn stuff. I'm watching like an argument or a car crash, and then it's a girl blowing a guy. And I'm like, where did that come from? And I'll be like, no. And it's like, are you sure? Here's another one. I'm like, dude, stop doing that to me. I don't want to watch that. So it's out there getting pushed on you. Hey everybody, Jason Ellis here of the Jason Ellis Show 2.0. Hims can make it strong, and you can have more control of it. You can work on your diet, on your hair, just your fitness, health, fitness. Everybody loves health and fitness. When you're feeling good about yourself and you're feeling fit and you're feeling healthy, you're making better decisions, life goes better. Do you want life to suck? So get Hims to get simple online access to personal, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more. visit hims.com/Ellis. That's hims.com/Ellis for your free online visit. hims.com/Ellis. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required? See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. And the more you see it, the more you get used to it, and the more you accept it. And it's like, if your parents don't know any better, they let you see it. They talk about it more. Like, my dad was very over the top with that kind of stuff. We slept with the same women, like, very gross. Like, I'm definitely on the extreme side of things. But also, look where I went with my life. I slept with everybody because I thought it was cool. He didn't mean it, but he kind of raised me to, like, win and sleep with everybody and drink. I don't think he was like, that's what I want him to grow up to be. I think it was just, he didn't know any better, and he set that example. And I think society is kind of like our parents, if you will, especially when you got parents that are like too busy with like 5 different jobs and stresses of their own life. And they're like, you go to school, here, look at the phone, look at the iPad, look at the TV, whatever it is. You're being raised by society, and society does not care about you. They want the money. And it's no offense to them. It's not personal. It's just business. But how many people really know about diet? Like, as a guy that was just on the East Coast for a week, pizza tastes good, man. You know why pizza tastes good? Because when I was a kid, on the weekends, sometimes we would go to Pizza Hut. And Pizza Hut was like a treat. It was like candy dinner, you know? Versus also realizing, because Australia's behind, not as much now because of social media, but when I was a boy, in the 80s, it was probably similar to like America in the 70s, where your mum probably made you dinner. There was less broken homes. There was somebody that didn't have a job and someone that did have a job, so that when you came home, there was some food. That was obviously I'm from a broken home, but my stepmom did that for her children, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that and have home-cooked meals for at least, I can't remember, 5 to 10 years, where it was just like, yeah, man, you get dinner, and it was usually pretty healthy, like, I mean, sure, there was like mashed potatoes, but that's not that, it's a bit starchy or whatever, but like, meat. And because it was in Australia, it was like grass-fed. Is this the stupidest thing? Like, when I was a kid in the 80s, it's not called grass-fed, it's called steak. Like, it's just changed because there's so many of us, and there people figure out a way to make it cheaper, and it's not as healthy. But you don't know that. Most of us don't know that. And then the fast food chains, they get bigger and they get the sponsors. And it's like, you look at the TV, insurance commercials and fast food, because they're the only ones left. And alcohol, the ones that make the most money. So if you watch TV, the commercial is one of those 3, because everyone else is gone. Oh, and the pharmaceutical company. Do you have an itchy butthole? Take this. Oh, just so you know, your eyes might bleed. I think I'd rather an itchy butthole. Your eyes might bleed. That's like a side effect that is common in pills. Do you know in Australia there's no commercial that says, just real quick when I talk really fast, so there might be a side effect where your eyes bleed. There's never, every time an Australian comes here and watches one of those commercials, their jaw is on the ground going, wait, was that real? And I'm like, yeah, that's like, watch the TV for another hour. You'll see several more of those. But what I'm trying to say is, the sex food industry is everything. We are consumers, and we are being rolled. And it's not an evil plan. It's business, Like, if I sell t-shirts and someone goes, hey man, I can get these t-shirts that are half the price of the other ones. So you get more money every time you sell a t-shirt. The only problem is they got a little bit of oil in them and they kind of like might give you skin cancer when you're older. Well, maybe you don't even know about the skin cancer. They're just cheaper and you can't figure out why. You know, like Subway bread has yoga mat material in it. You know, bread is not what bread used to be because they figured out a way to make it last longer by putting stuff in it that doesn't make you that healthy. Getting back to New York, I put on weight being in New York. I'm on the road. I'm in hotel rooms. I cannot cook, which is similar to like us in the world. We're in a hurry. And it's a treat. You know what? Because I was raised to ice cream and sugar is a treat. It tastes better. You know what? Here's a big one. Anyone ever have a green drink? You ever had a green drink for the first time after never having a green drink? Is it the most delicious thing you've ever had? No. No, you're like, whoa. But you're told if you drink more of those, that you'll be more healthy. And you're like, kind of disgusting. Broccoli. What are the ones, the little green bowl things? Everyone hates them. It doesn't matter. There's like things that we've always grown to like, oh, I don't want to eat my Brussels sprouts. There you go. Those things. They're healthier, you know? But if you're raised, like I knew a guy, some of you might know, I used to have a show, Raw Dog. His mom he was like, I don't want to eat vegetables. And she was just like, okay. You know? And he is a little man. He can't jump. He can't run. He gets tired. He doesn't smoke. He's very unhealthy. I mean, this was back when he was like 23 or something, or 25. He was one of the more unhealthy people I'd ever met in my life because his parents let him eat whatever he wanted to eat. And he wanted to eat what a 12-year-old wanted to eat, which was like fruity pebbles, you know? And if you eat fruity pebbles, and when you become a man, you're not really a man. You're like half a child. Your body, your muscles don't form. You know, you get tired. You know, he would get really tired doing like little exercises and stuff where I was like, man, he's like really unhealthy. Yeah, I don't know what he's like now. I mean, actually, I did see him like maybe 3 years ago and he got bigger. He's not healthy, is all I'm trying to say. It's society feeding you this stuff that you don't realize there's an option, because to eat clean is now difficult. It's work, you know? Like I am now, first of all, I've got to have more money, you know? Like I go to a grocery store where they have grass-fed beef, which is more money. It's kind of embarrassing. Like when I buy steaks, I cringe a little bit because I'm like, wait, this isn't even cooked yet. I'm not happy about my, you know, sometimes $20 for a piece of meat. It's not cooked. It's just there. I got to prepare it. Like if I'm at a restaurant, I pay 20. I'm like, man, this better be good. Sorry, I know I'm being a budget guy, but that's just crazy. You know? But it's like California. Dude, why would you live in California? Shut up. It's way better than your place. Poo Lake. Get over it. But like I recently, because of the, my girlfriend, you're going to hate me, but my girlfriend, one of her jobs, because she has more than one, she's a fit model. Yep, she's hot. Oh, you're gay. You've got to, yeah, okay. My chick's hot. Also, if my chick wasn't that hot and it was the person that is her soul and her mind, I'd still date her because, like I said, man, the thing with the sex is like, I'm not gonna say she's not hot. It's just not in the top 3 things I think about when it comes to her. I don't know if I'm being disrespectful to her right now, but it's like her mind, her kindness, her intelligence. This is making me emotional. I care about it. It means a lot. And that never meant anything. It was just like, what does your butthole look like? That's my girlfriend, you know? And I would look at it and be like, yeah, I have made the right choice. And somehow I would be like, why is my life so stressful? Well, yeah, but dude, have you seen her butthole? It's crazy. Where am I going? Shut up, Zach. You get, like the fast food thing where you don't know where you're eating. You're in a hurry. You're eating this stuff. You're finding it harder to sleep. You're not as rested. You're not thinking as well. You're getting out of shape. We don't exercise. A lot of us don't exercise. Like I'm doing exercise video with my girlfriend I'm going to bring out on a Patreon. And I'm like, wait, if I do, what kind of workout do I do to make people, it's got to be like beginners. Beginners is like, I'm going to bring weights into it. I'm like, I don't think bringing weights into it is a good idea. I think I should make it no weights. And then if you get better at it, then you can add weights to it. Man, is this hot in here, dude? This room got hot. I don't know if it's a coffee or what, but
it's that banging new shirt.
Dude, it's my birthday shirt. I accidentally opened it when I got home. I was like, whoa, there's cats on it. And she's like, what? Don't. And I'm like, wait, it says Rumble? It's Rumble Bean. It's a Rumble Bean t-shirt. It is the coolest thing ever. Dude, can you go out there and make it cooler? Yeah. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm...
Yeah, I got to keep going. Okay.
Boiling. Where was I? Right. My experience, right? Sleeping with a lot of people, going out with people that make sleeping with a lot of people more accessible, sleeping with a lot of, having a relationship that involves always thinking about sleeping with a lot of people or even just one person all the time. Main focus is like that. Same with like, when you're an unfit person, your main focus is, when you get home, before you go to bed, you eat a lot of unhealthy processed foods. And that's what I was going to say. Like when it comes to eating healthy, it is work. Like I make all these steaks, I meal prep, because you can't make a healthy meal 3 times a day. If you work a lot, there's just no time. So like when I do have time, I make like several meals in one, and it's trial and error. I've put a lot of work into it. I no longer add rice to things. I just have the steaks, and I have the sweet potato, and I have avocado. I use raw cheese. Oh. Look, I don't get fat when I eat raw cheese. I don't know what to tell you. I don't put that much in there anymore because it's just like, like for my birthday, I'll probably eat something really unhealthy and it'll be fun. But I'm not going to have it again. Also, I don't know if you know this, but when you eat something really unhealthy, when you eat a lot of sugar, it goes into your body and then it goes into your brain and it sets off these things that make you want to eat more right after it. That's like a scientific fact. I actually have Googled this stuff. Where you eat unhealthy stuff and your body tells you need more of it. That's how you get bigger and more out of shape. When you eat clean, when you're full, you're full. Your body doesn't start trying to trick you to do more. And I think that food, diet is the same with sex and all that other stuff. When you start putting yourself in things that are not that healthy for the wrong reasons, as soon as you're done with it, you want to do more of it. And I think society, as I said before, maybe not intentionally, but at this point, I think kind of, keeps feeding us this information that tells us that we should just keep doing more of it. So like when I say that I'm living more of a conservative lifestyle, it means I definitely don't want to go on a boat cruise where everybody blows everybody, because it's not healthy for me mentally, spiritually, and physically. And when I'm more healthy mentally, physically, and spiritually, I can handle tough situations better. And life is about constant tough situations. Sure, there's great things that happen, hopefully for all of you, but life is about, there's struggles. This is like the gift of life is to survive struggle. You know, people will tell you this, like great things come from people that have survived tough times. Without tough times, the good times it doesn't mean that much. You don't appreciate it. And appreciating a great moment is, again, another thing that is so important in life. You know, so when you're taking care of your diet and and I'm like, oh, you're going to do the diet. I'm like, it's a really big deal. You know, it's like if you're hungover, you can't make the right decisions as well when you drink. You know, there's levels. If you smoke crack, you're not making a good decision that whole day. If you smoke crack every day for the rest of that time until you get sober, every decision you make is probably the wrong one. You know, like when you see people that have no teeth and they're like, hey man, can I have some money? They've made some bad decisions. I'm not saying that, you know, society, something, life, you know what I mean? Mental, like, you know, how did you get mentally like that? Did your parents beat you? Did they do crack? You know, did they drink a lot? Did they eat the wrong thing and then that made them drink more? These things all escalate, you know? Like there's never been bigger people in the world now because now it's acceptable to eat more and more crappy food. And it's like, you know, big is beautiful. And I'm like, look, I'm not saying, don't twist my words. I'm not saying that big people are beneath me or something. I'm just saying, look, if you can barely walk or like run, get on a plane, I don't know, you know, like it's difficult to go upstairs, it's difficult to carry your bag, and you're not 80, then you're kind of missing out on a piece of life. You know, it should be easy to get your stuff around. You know, like I have also been out of shape. I've done all these things. That's the, you know, like I'm not like I think I'm better than you. I'm the worst of our kind. I've done all the worst things. And now I'm doing all the right things. And that's why I'm sharing it. Because I'm being honest with you. Now that I've done all the right things, I have these moments of like ecstasy, almost just joy of nothing. Of like, what a great day it is. And I wake up with like, you know, I talk to God all the time, you know, like, so grateful for this day, for the opportunity to make the day great for others, to help somebody, you know, to tell my kids that I love them, how grateful I am that I have my children and that they care for me. And the more I do that, the more I see the other side of life, the life that I have lived. And how I felt. I recall the feeling I've had where it's like, wake up, smoke weed, you know, like try to do, I don't want to say it anymore, you know, sleeping with people, getting on social media to see if I, you know, or dating apps to see if I can arrange something for later on that day. See if I can do something that would make somebody want to have sex with me. But instead, now it's like, how are my kids doing? So look, you can say, look, bad dad. You know, there was a time there where I was like, how can I sleep with somebody else instead of how is my kid doing at school? You know, I think we're all guilty of it in some fashion, but admitting it is another thing. But I really believe that the TV, the social media, the apps, the driving down the road where everything on the freeway is bad for you. Everything is bad. You know? Like the options that you're given make it incredibly difficult to be very healthy, very spiritual, even spiritual. You know, like the church, praying to God is great. God is great. Praying to somebody that thinks that other people are beneath them is not. That's where it gets hard for me, you know? I think that it's like, gay is a sin. I'm like, I don't think gay is a sin. That's crazy. Also, like that person was like, you hate trans people now. I'm like, I do not hate trans people. I don't hate anyone. I think if you're constantly thinking about sex all the time, and that goes for everybody on the LGBTQ and straight, everybody, if you're thinking about sleeping with people all the time, it's not healthy. Mentally, spiritually, and physically, it is not healthy. And if you are not settled spiritually, mentally, and physically, when problems come, and as you all know, they're coming, you are not prepared to handle it. And that's when you make wrong decisions, go down wrong roads, and you end up going to AA meetings for the rest of your life and being on a podcast where you keep preaching about being sober. And you look like an illustrated penis. And you've had to apologize to pretty much every person you've ever cared about. And you probably should apologize to them for the rest of your life. So, have at it, or listen to what I'm saying, because I think I am actually correct. I think I have experienced enough, I've done enough wrong things and come out on the other side to be like, hey, watch out. That's all I'm saying. If you want to have a donut, have a donut. Don't have all the donuts right before you go to bed. If you want to have some garlic bread with your spaghetti, don't have garlic bread all the time because it's processed and it's got, the bread, the butter. They kind of, they're making it cheaper. You're going to get the more expensive butter. You won't eat as much of the butter if it's the expensive one. That's like the trick. You have a bunch of sugar. It makes you want to have more sugar. Google it. Google it. Don't just be like, yeah, right. Actually fact check it. There's like a thing, lady told me once. And I was like, yeah, right. I was like, no, there's like a thing. And I'm not scientifically explaining. I'm doing it in layman's terms because that's me. I'm lame. You eat crappy food, it makes you want to eat more crappy food. You hang out with crappy people, it makes you want to put up with more crappy stuff. Next thing you know, all your friends are crap, you're crap, everyone's negative, and then you go on social media and tell people they suck. Social media, also a crappy organization. It's a tribe of buffoonery. Bunch of idiots hating on each other. You know why you're hating on each other? Because you ain't out there being busy taking care of yourself, making yourself a more healthy, mentally, spiritually, and physically person. Because when you start to have that, when you start to have this, I've been rested because I didn't eat a bunch of candy before I went to sleep. I'm not saying I'm guilty. Fully guilty. The only difference is I'll catch it and be like, get back on the horse. I'm not giving up, That's these things where you get to a point where you're like, who cares anymore? I'm just going to drink it anyway. Who cares? I'm just going to have another donut right before I go to bed. I've tried, I've tried to be sober with the guys we all holding hands like God's not real. If God's not real, if God was real, how come my friend died of cancer? That's the thing where the church is like, actually, the Lord is watching you all the time and he judges you. Each to their own, but I don't think that's how it is. Doesn't really make sense to me. If it makes sense to you, that's great. But when you do that, you give these other people that are like, if God was real, how come my friend would die of cancer? How come children would die of cancer? Like, that is a really good argument if that was the case, if we were led to believe that. And if God is such a great, all-loving kind of person, then why does he hate gay people? Why does he make gay people for us to hate? Why? Because I believe it's not a dude. You can. Don't get it twisted. You can. I believe God is love. You let love into your heart. And it's very difficult to let love in your heart when the world has been so mean to you. How do I know that? Because I've had a flash. You know, I've had a couple of good kicks to the dick that made me very angry at everything and everybody. It took a long time for me to go, you know what? Before I leave this earth, let's give it a go. And since I have given it a go, life has gotten a whole lot better for me. It's never been better. You're talking to a guy that used to get paid millions of dollars a year for telling fart jokes on the radio. And there was people with tattoos on my face and people that named their baby after me. That sounds pretty cool, right? I am reverse rich. I have never been broker. And I have never been happier. I'm fitter. I'm a better athlete. That's a crying shame. If I had been this when I was young and skateboarding, I would have been really good. Whoops. Oh man, I really fucked that one up. But yeah, give it a go, you know? Try to eat clean. Just try it, you know? And it's like, yeah, but the thing is, I've talked about that. Yeah, but the thing is, it's hard for me to do the thing. And it's like, okay, well then don't do it. Just shut up. Be negative. Hang out in that negative world. I'm not saying it's easy, you know? It's the same with getting sober. Like, yeah, but the thing is, I got to go. How do I get to a meeting? And I don't believe in God. And I don't want to do this. And I don't want to do the step. And I don't want to read the book. And I haven't got there. And I don't want to reach out to a sponsor. I don't like talking in public. Don't then. Keep doing your thing. Maybe you'll hit a rock bottom one day where you'll be like, you know what? I'll give it a go. Until then, great. Do your thing. I'm just telling you that making the effort, doing the meal prep, you know, eating clean. After a certain time at night, no, I'm not eating. Drink more water. All these little things. Make sure you get some sleep. You're going to go out with the boys tonight. No, I'm not. Man, drinking and smoking. I told the guy he's going to fight at Skankfest. And he's like, I've been training. And I was like, you smoke weed? He's like, well, yeah. I'm like, quit smoking weed until after the fight. Whoa, poof. I'm like, well, then you don't want to win. This is what you're talking about. Of course I want to win. Life is a fight. You know? Most people can't not drink for 3 months. Even if you're not an alcoholic, you can't, well, dude, it's dinner, like it's function or it's friends and, you know, like what, I'm just going to have a glass of wine. It's ridiculous. Well, then you don't really want it. Shut up. Don't bitch about nothing. Something bad happens and you can't handle it. Don't complain. You have no justification. You didn't get ready. Because today you can get ready. Today you can wake up and get ready. You can do everything in your power to be ready for tomorrow. If you shortcut it, it's your fault. Don't blame anybody else. Don't blame me on social media. It's your fault. It can all be done. Also, we all have a phone. You can type it in. What do I eat? Yeah, watching porn. Don't watch porn. Oh, but don't watch it. Don't go on dating apps. Meet people. You know? Don't judge people by their face. That is definitely hard. Don't judge people by their shoes. Definitely a victim of that. Don't judge people by their RAV4s. My bad. Give love a chance, you know? Just know that it is very hard work. But that's the thing. You work hard, everything is on the table for you. You know? Discipline, determination, sacrifice, all these things that we all kind of already know. It's just saying it and doing it are two different things. The day is long, you know? The day is stressful. And you're like, man, just smoke a cigarette. Okay. You don't really want it, you know? Just know it's all there. All you gotta do is suffer. I love you guys. Don't die.